Another thing is that one side does not fit on. The thing is that with manual design, you can design one time, and if the procedure you frequently or repeatedly a numbers of times, that may be good, that may be cost effective. However, to design a control procedure for specific transaction, for specific customer or specific kinds of goods, for instance, manually is not cost effective. You cannot manually design a control procedure for a flexible workload or a loosely coupled workload that just combine one at a time for that specific income of transaction. So that's the reason we need the formal method. The formal here implies that the computabilities of the method, that we can do it automatically by some computer system to support the redesigns or verification of control procedure. So any comment on the first section?
It seems the discussion seemed to be getting a little bit too detailed at that point. If your audience, I mean, I knew what you were saying,
yeah.
So don't get into the details of documentary credit. You can avoid it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know documentary credit, you're lost at that point.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can explain that more easily in terms of, say, in e-ticket or in the airline.
Yeah, right. That may be good, but I try to link the whole thing. We stay here and then solution and then validation and so forth in the same example, in the same set of example. That's not good. That's good.
Careful not to get too detailed.
Right.
Hold your audience attention.
Maybe like two examples, one daily example and one more technical example. Good.
Hold the technical example for later.
Right. Editing here, I use the language of international trade procedure to demonstrate, but can easily use example of daily life, example like a building replaced by the cinema ticket or a bus ticket or whatever. And I consider to add two examples, two types of examples.
Yeah, and the other thing is you make it sound like you should clarify that what you're talking about is redesign of interorganizational procedures. A major impetus or motivation for redesign is automation.
Yes.
But you might redesign procedures for other reasons too. Merging of companies, for instance. When you merge companies, there's huge amounts of redesign that goes on.
Yes.
When you're harmonizing between countries, you redesign procedures. Change of technology is one source. What you might try to identify is that there's various sources, various motives, various pressures for redesigning procedures.
Right. So that's the reason.
Maybe there's a new crime wave. The mafia moves in.
Right. So that's the reason I separate the two needs here. The first need is about redesign. Never mind about whether it's automatic or not. So the first thing is about the need for redesign. And the second need is for why the automatic added into the method. Otherwise, we just like informally specify rule and so on.
Yeah, but the need for a formal method, here you're suggesting that it's e-transformation.
Yes.
That's not the only need for a formal method. The formal method allows you to identify the alternative solutions. You're making a link.
Yes.
You're making sort of an artificial link between the motive of formal method and workflows, for instance, or e-transformation. E-transformation is important, but it's not the only one.
Right. So if you just say the objective of the formal method is for exploring new alternative or finding new alternative.
This is like a theoretical motivation, right? Like
Right.
theoretical
This is
motivation.
about
And the
it.
other one is the application motivation, which will be the domain dependent. And this one is independent of the domain.
The formal method allows you complete specification of the control requirements.
Sure,
Mhm.
sure.
That's the key point.
Yeah, sure,
It's
sure. I agree.
basta. That's enough.
Mhm.
That's the key point.
And maybe this
What
will
you
be
need,
Yeah.
that's why you need a formal method.
Mhm.
Right. But yeah, I try to tie here because my deliverables is a formal method and also a prototype. I have a prototype, a working prototype. So I try to bind things together to argue that why we need it.
Don't try to say everything at once.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it paced, make your point, point by point.
Okay.
And if you try to muddle everything together, then you sort of dilute it. This doesn't sound
But would it be better, Professor Lee, if this part would be before, because the application is like what you're using to develop your case, but it seems to me that your contribution is more this one than the actual application in trade. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. The thing is that the formal methods is the key thing, but we need to balance between the theoretical rigorous of the methods against the applicability of the method.
Mm-hmm.
And the applicability, you need to target to specific things rather than just superficial thing. You see, you need to point out certain
No, but
specific
I
things.
agree with what Gladys is saying, is that the driver here is formal methods for redesign and procedures of interorganizational procedures.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Major application area is international trade.
Sure. That's the thing I try to say right in the very first line. The methods is applied for any kind of interorganizational procedure that
Okay.
satisfy these assumptions.
Okay, see, this is what happens when you get down in the details,
You know
is that the details get you, then we get down in the trees, now we're in international trade, and all the details about vendors and carriers and stuff.
That's right.
International trade is so complicated that
And it's
you get fall into there, and then you
Yeah.
lose the rest of the audience. So
Yeah,
keep it at the abstract level,
Yes.
and keep yourself from going down into the details of documentary credits.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you see that to revise the slide. But it seems right. I anticipate that problem. I anticipate that I have a little bit more focus on trying on this one. So I try to put a slide up front before I go to that area. I say I can do with anything.
Yeah.
Certify this kind of assumption.
Is there a section in the talk that deals specifically with application international trade? I don't see it in your. You have the import-export procedure. Need for redesign. See, look,
that's
look,
application.
Here is intent to do that kind of
But
thing.
that's, you're mixing it.
but I'm looking at the outline. The
Mhm.
outline. You see the outline. Motivation. Need for redesign, need for formal method, application, international trade. You've got motivation, you've got import-export procedure as the major motivation in your outline.
Right.
See? Point 4.
Right. So I may change this one to international trade procedure
And put it
then
as 6.
import export as an example.
And put it as 6. The motivation, primary motivation is needs for redesign.
Yes.
From that, improving redesign, need for a formal method.
Yes. Okay, fine.
Yeah. I thought need for redesign talks to international trade. doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's sort of your, is that what really motivates you?
I think
No.
the
The
six is number one.
redesign here, again, I try to incorporate in the slide 3 to make clear. Okay. The area I'm looking at here is interorganizational procedure. Any kinds of interorganizational procedure.
Redesign and
Right.
interorganization.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what-
Design and redesign.
Right. The reason I choose international trade to validate and demonstrate the method because international trade is probably the most complicated interorganizational procedure.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, but that's,
Right.
but
Keep
now
in
you're
mind,
into the.
well, keep in mind your audience.
Yeah.
Your committee has nothing to do with international trade.
Yeah.
They have lots to do with abstract computing and so forth.
Mm.
Make sure that you're talking to your committee.
Right.
Now, you can talk to, write a separate paper that targets the international trade audience
Yeah.
later. But there's nobody on your committee,
Right.
aside from me, but still, I'm more on the abstract side.
Yeah.